Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Yes, I wasn't dead. I just not disappeared unannounced, like it seems some of you thought, because it was announced. I announced that in the beginning of September that I'm going to make some vacation. And yes, I'm back, unfortunately. No, it was great. I could charge my batteries, even I would say not full, but it's fine. Better than nothing. So let us start as usual to make our market analysis step by step, checking different charts, different data, trying to interpret what we are seeing, and at the end, and that's now my backup chapter, it's my personal conclusion if, in case of, the data give us the opportunity to make a final conclusion at the end. As you're noticing, the market is not doing any big progress. It's just maintaining. It's lifting up, then it's declining. Yes, we are not at 20K. It's like, you remember when I said the market feels like in slow motion, we are still there. Always the big question is, are people behind big entities who are accumulating just like they are doing it to prepare for the next bull run, or are they hiding their distribution instead? And that's, in my opinion, one of the key questions we should do and try to find an answer, because it will give us a better insight and even a good trend of the next month. Anyway, let us start. We are not going to make a big initial comment today. I'm accumulating some topics, not about Binance, not about Tether or something, so keep cool. But, also related to the global economy, big things are happening. And as you know, that will have also impact to the crypto market, because it's not, like many think, an isolated island. It's part of a bigger ecosystem. So we need to check all of that. So give me some days to make more research and to bring, hopefully, interesting insights and views. And let us start. So then, let us go forward and check what the weights ratio one-day time frame, in particular my lovely 30 days moving average, is doing. So if we check the weights ratio in general, we can see that the trend is declining. Does mean that whales are sending less bitcoins to centralized exchanges. That's usually what the weights ratio is indicating. I would say the liquidity, or in that case not the liquidity, but the Bitcoin flow by whales. If it goes up, it's indicating they're sending more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. If it's declining, means that's just declining as well, decreasing. Also, usually a signal that they are sending less Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, also indicating they are preparing the next leg up to distribute in upper price levels. But something you need to have in mind as well, and I'm telling you that just due my experience with the weights ratio, 30 days moving average, every single time the weights ratio is pushing up means they are just accumulating Bitcoins on centralized exchanges, indicating that's like a preparation phase when it's starting to decline means they are done with the preparation phase, and usually the operation, the whole distribution operation, depends what strategy they are looking for, to generate fear, so to be very aggressive and to dump bitcoins at once, just to dump the price as well, to bring fear and generate fear to retail so they can get for cheaper prices the bitcoins of retailers. Something I'm still missing, to be honest, so it doesn't look like. Or they fill their bags with bitcoins on centralized exchanges to distribute. That also means they can use futures to push up the price like they did in the past to distribute, where the price is pushing up with futures to generate, to initiate or trigger FOMO by retail, to let them jump on and to dump on them. Doesn't mean dump on them, the price will dump. It will decrease. Doesn't mean the price will dump. It depends how much money they use to control the price with futures. And that's something they are doing, because they did in the past. Well, we'll see what they are doing today, or at least with the data we will collect today with all the views, and then we will see if spot is leading or futures, if whales are buying or instead selling. Because in that case, if you are saying that volume of futures are increasing, obviously now you should make the question, well, volume of futures can be long and short. Yes, you are right. Anyway, it would be a trend that they are using futures to control the price if at the same time we can see that whales are more selling than buying. Both together could give us a good view that they are distributing while using at the same time futures to create a little bit of FOMO, or the hope, just a little bit of hope to retail to jump on the wave and to buy their bitcoins. We will check that. Anyway, I like to make such kind of, what the hell? Hello? Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I like to give you a little bit more background information why I'm saying why I'm doing such kind of statements when I say I'm not bullish on this market. Because my interpretation is maybe a little bit different to the interpretation you will read on Twitter by different analysts. And that's why I'm creating Phoenicia Academy, because I just want to give you the option to become a good analyst. Better than me, better than all these guys, influencers on Twitter, and to make your own trade strategy based on your own interpretation. I think that's part of mass adoption, when the mass know how to trade this market. Anyway, let us go forward and check what the weights ratio and 1 hour time frame, and in particular the 72 hours moving average, is doing. If we check here, for example, we can see that the weights ratio 1 hour time frame dumped once. Usually that's a bullish signal. Short term usually doesn't mean the price can't go down, but this year can just also indicate we will go up from here. Maybe just to visit 28, 27.5 or whatever. That's something, to be honest, I'm very fresh back from vacation. I didn't check, I didn't any deep analysis about, forecasting what could be the next price level related to Bitcoin. That's something we are going to do today together. So, we need to see, but usually when you have such a cut of demand and then a rising demand coming after, that looks like we will go up, and that here could give us also something like the evidence that the idea is not that wrong. So anyway, every single time they are doing it, we can see as well that the weights ratio is pushing up, then afterwards to 97%, even to 100%, indicating weights flip automatically afterwards to distribute. So we need to check, and that's why the 72 hours moving average is very helpful. That's a red line. If you can check that, it's indicating we're in a downward trend. Also matches very well to the 1 day time frame weights ratio, because it's also here indicating that whales are sending less bitcoins to centralized exchanges. We don't know, at least yet, if they have accumulated maybe 20,000 bitcoins or 50,000 bitcoins on centralized exchanges to distribute. But that also wouldn't say that they are going to dump the price. So we need really some more informations because that's like a puzzle. We have a little bit separate puzzle pieces, and we need to check now if they fit to the whole picture. So if we now go forward, I mean, we have here, for example, the net flow indicating they are right now sending more bitcoins to centralized exchanges, would also give us a better feeling that they are instead right now sending more bitcoins to centralized exchanges, maybe just to distribute. Doesn't mean they are going to dump from here. If we check the stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges, that's the yellow curve here. It's now declining, just indicating they are just cashing out. They are taking out stablecoins for whatever, maybe just accumulating, waiting for a better entry position, or just cashing out to send to treasury back and to get fiat for that stablecoin. So it will be also possible. So let us go forward. So now we are going to start with the liquidity analysis. And that's, in my opinion, of course, also just a part of the whole puzzle, but in my opinion, one of the most important puzzle pieces of the whole picture, because the whole market only works with liquidity. That's the main thing. So if you have a great indicator or a great theory how to measure the liquidity flows of such a market like Bitcoin, and obviously we will have different approaches to do that, then you would be the king. Almost. Maybe. For short term. And obviously also for long term. So, I like the Live Net Flow Premium. The Live Net Flow Premium alone, it's not telling you a lot. Now, some people sent me when I was on vacation, because I was using the last 7 months as indication what is happening to the market. But now, pay attention. Only to use this as indicating, it's not enough, because that's the data rolling, indicating 6 months. You need to see, it means that's just measuring step by step all these bars. So when I was using it, it was in a very stable position. So it was obviously then in my favor. In my favor means it was a neutral position. Every single change was indicating me really the net flow. I don't know if you can follow me now. So if you are always checking the 6 month data rolling, you need also to check what happened then. Otherwise, just use this here. That's the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the H4, 4 hours, and the H1, 1 hour, because that's the live data. So if you see the monthly, for example, is going to change now to plus 5,000, it's indicating we received 13,000 Bitcoins. But even then, use Telegram, because that's what Live NetFlow Premium is doing, is not only here on this website showing you the live net flows, the live data and the data rolling, but on Telegram also giving you a nice view what transactions are behind of these moves, of these changes of the live net flow. So if you see, for example, that you see 10,000 Bitcoins outflowing from Binance Hot Wallet, that's bullish. That's usually bullish. It's indicating someone, a big one, a whale, a bigger entity, just bought recently 10,000 Bitcoins on Binance, because the hot wallet is just a trade wallet. Money or Bitcoin comes in just to change its hands. Okay? So that's it. But when you at the same time see, close afterwards, the same amount of Bitcoins goes then afterwards to Binance Cold Wallet, then you should start to rethink what that means. In my opinion, it seems Binance is buying Bitcoins. I mean, that's great. It's an exchange, they can do it. But 10,000, it's a lot. Obviously, nobody knows the context. Maybe CZ did one of those very popular tweets before I missed because I was in vacation. Possible. It happened yesterday. I really missed that then. But in case of, you always need the context. Never ever just take a digit and say, that's the truth. If you don't know what's behind, it's nothing. It's just a number. So you always need, and that's why we are making interpretations. That's why we are using different data, because they need to match to make a final conclusion. Otherwise, it's just worthless. So if we check here, we can see the 90 days rolling, 3 months, the 30 days rolling, 1 month. Now the Premium Live M7, if we check that, everything looks relatively bullish. Relatively. Last 14 days, Premium Live, H4 rolling. Doesn't look bad. At the moment, it would indicate they are accumulating. They are buying. At least, if that's buying, they are withdrawing Bitcoins from centralized exchanges. I have mentioned that so many times. That happened to FTX as well, just before they collapsed. Because insiders knew what will happen next. And the first thing they do, or they did, what many retailers missed afterwards, is to withdraw. Just to bring their assets safe to another place, or, just to sell, for example. So, in particular, if you are looking to make short-term trading, then the best are those two charts, H4 rolling and H1. The H1 is the most, I would say, the optimum for day traders, short-term traders. But even then, you need to see also here the context. If you see a big green bar, a red bar afterwards, what does it mean? Was that just wash trading? Was just, like we have that so many times. What does it mean? And that's where the Telegram account from this page here, it's absolutely crucial. And obviously not only this one. Also whales alert, just compare a little bit, check the exchange reserves if you have a good provider that's giving you good data, high quality data. I'm using CryptoQuant. I don't say anything about CQ, to be honest. Some say it's not high quality data. They use CoinGlass, I think it is, whatever. It's up to you. So if we go back, everything looks green, indicating they are withdrawing Bitcoins from centralized exchanges. If they are buying, that's great. If they are just withdrawing because they are taking out from their cold wallets, because that would be absolutely not good, because that would be a signal that something like a hiding bank run is happening behind. So just also here to mention. So also here, Live NetFlow Premium is one puzzle piece. I'm using Inkblock just to have a better sentiment of what's happening. If I check here in the last 24 hours, we see they sent 380 million US dollars in crypto and they withdrew 166 million in USD. That's a very bearish balance. Why? Well, they are just withdrawing fiat, while they are sending more crypto, indicating they are selling their crypto to swap to fiat and taking them out from centralized exchanges, cashing out. That's bearish. Then in the last 12 hours, we can see what exactly happened here. We can see that they sent 560 millions, but they withdrew 165. We can see that they sent, for example, 370 millions in Bitcoins, but they withdrew 219 millions. If we go forward, we see that the fear and greed index is neutral. We remember we were at 30K, I think it was at 54 something. Now we are at 47. So nothing big happened here. If we go forward, and that's also very interesting, they are sometimes making some changes here. Now some others disappeared, like Coinbase. I don't know why exactly, but however, we also sometimes can see what is happening in the last 24 hours. Where's the whole money coming from that's moving the markets? At the moment, we see that Binance received in the last 24 hours 300 millions. That's really strange, because it was on Binance where they just withdrew almost 10,000 Bitcoins from a hot wallet and sent them directly to a Binance cold wallet. It smells like a little bit Binance is buying and also using their position maybe to maintain the price. Maybe they are buying because they know, hey, in 3 month bull run, I mean, FTX and Sam did that in July 2021, if you remember. So if we go forward, and CryptoWeights and that's another app that I'm using just to see if everything fits together. We see here a very high sales ratio by whales. 67, let us say 67 to 33% is on favor of sales instead of buys. That's bearish. We can also see that TUSD, BTC TUSD is only now, what the wow? What happened here? Okay. Here's someone really cashing out here, it seems. Because that's really uncommon. Usually we had a very high, maybe it's a data mistake, error, whatever. Because even here, Bitfinex, Binance, it looks like if I need to interpret this information, we have a high sales ratio by whales. They are using mainly the BTC USD pair on Bitfinex. It seems on Bitfinex someone is selling big. That's at least what I can see here. It's wondering me a little bit that BTC TUSD is only doing 7.6%. Because if we go forward, we can see that since end of September, so September 20th, the market cap of TUSD pushed up. from 3.1 billion to 3.5 billion, if you check the market price of Bitcoin, it would make a little bit more sense. But that's really interesting what's happening here related to Bitfinex. We will check that later on. So let us go forward. So we are not going to rush because we have time, but I'm going to bring a little bit more pace now, because otherwise it's going to be an endless story here. We see, for example, the purple line, the curve, is the aggregated funding rate of all exchanges. It's pushing up, indicating they are demanding more longs. We can see that at the same time the open interest is declining. We can see that the leverage ratio is maintaining while the price is declining. Yesterday they liquidated almost 750 bitcoins, and that's everything we can see here. If we now go forward, we see yesterday the whole ratio here, the longs versus shorts chart, was looking completely different. We had almost 1 billion in shorts, 1.5 billion in longs. Now we have much less shorts, and longs we received even a little bit more. So indicating that the market is right now shifting more to longs and fits to the funding rate that we have seen. At the same time, Bitfinex shorts 58, almost 49 millions. It's very high. Now we can say he's joking because 2.5 billion to 50 millions, that's really a very crap ratio, but it's just because Bitfinex always had and have this high longs. I guess nobody knows exactly why, but I guess they are hedging. So they sell spot, okay? Maybe that fits to the unusual chart. They sell spot and then they go long with futures. That can even be Bitcoin collateral futures, for example, or whatever. So at least this year's high, we see that the Binance balance longs versus shorts looks, in my opinion, because the market looks more to do the opposite what traders are expecting, because that's the cash cow of big exchanges like Binance. If many people are making a bet to go long, usually the price goes down. So if I see 66 to 34% ratio between longs and shorts, for me that's a very bearish balance. It's just indicating why to give those who are just betting a lot of longs, much more than shorts, to give them the opportunity to make money. You know, when you are visiting the casino, the opportunity or your ratio to win is relatively tiny or small, not tiny. I remember I was several times in the casino and it wasn't that bad. So anyway, also on Ethereum, long 70% looks even worse in my opinion, while shorts 30%. But yeah, that's almost it. I'm skipping the Kingfisher. To be honest, I can check if it works. No, it doesn't work, not yet. But if we check, for example, the cryptocurrency firing rates, we have a beautiful sheet here with different exchanges and their funding rates. If we check here, Binance indicating they are demanding more longs, BitMEX they are demanding much more shorts, Bybit neutral, Bybit USDC, because that was USDT, maybe you can see that, USDC demanding more longs, Deribit neutral, Kraken neutral, OKX neutral, even with USDC. But then coin margin contracts, also here Binance bullish, BitMEX extremely bearish, Bybit neutral, Deribit neutral, Kraken neutral on both sides. So here once again indicating the Binance is leading the bulls. Why? That's really interesting. I don't know why BitMEX really bearish at the moment. So that's it from here. Let us go forward. So if we now check here what's happening, we see here Binance BTC USDT pair distribution, pure distribution. If we check here, that's the aggregated BTC USDT pair distribution. Well, I mean, BTC BUSD is not really playing any role anymore in the market. BTC USD is also indicating it's a very negative trend, indicating distribution, and even that's what happened also to futures, coin margin and stablecoin margin. If we check here, we see that's what happened to the market. We declined, we pushed up. Okay, so I don't know, but BTC USDT didn't care a lot. I would say USD declined. It's lifting up a little bit, matches very well to what is happening to the price, and also here, right? Even a little bit more coin margin than stablecoin margin contracts. So indicating they are using a little bit more BTC USD pair, while at the same time also using BTC margin contracts, indicating they use futures, but instead of using Tether or BUSD or TUSD or whatever you want, USDC, they are using Bitcoin as collateral. So if we now go forward, we can see on Binance BTC TUSD. BTC TUSD was supporting the current price level, using also here, for example, both stablecoin and also coin margin contracts. If we check BUSD, well, to be honest, it's declining in market cap every day, so we can ignore that. We see what Bitfinex is doing, and that's a lot. That's really a lot. So Bitfinex, and that's what Unusual Weights was showing, a high level of sales with USD on Bitfinex, and that chart here is confirming it. It's the CBD. It's indicating they were selling much more than buying. So obviously also indicating someone on Bitfinex was dumping their Bitcoins. If we go forward, we see Bybit. Bybit at the same time, they pushed up the price. If we check here, Coinbase did exactly the same. They start to front run, they start to buy at the level of 26.6, and both even more where the price started to lift up and now started to distribute. If we check here, that's Bitstamp, lift it up, start to decline, lift it up again, just following the price. Now, and that's really interesting what Kraken is doing. Kraken, they start to buy big, it seems. For Kraken, that's really unusual, but you can see what they are doing. So someone on Kraken trying to maintain the price and to pushing up. That's Gemini, but Gemini is not playing any big role here as well. So if we go forward, and that's for me the most interesting part, is what miners are doing, because miners recently and this year is also playing a bigger part. So we can see here before we declined, just for example, a week earlier, yeah, they sent almost, how much is that? 6,200 Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. So usually indicating we push up the price, and it's well known now that miners are even using derivatives to use them because they have a lot of Bitcoins. For example, they can use coin margin futures, they can use options, for example. I wouldn't say to manipulate the price, but to control a little bit the price in their favor. Then afterwards, just to distribute. So push up, start to distribute. If we also go forward, we see that fund holdings lifted up a little bit, but it's following the price. Nothing big happened here. So funds not buying more Bitcoins. If we check here, for example, that's the trading volume ratio, spot versus derivative. Also a very important, in my opinion, it's also one of the big part of my puzzle picture. You can see that while the price started to go down, the spot ratio started to lift up, indicating they used less futures and they bought more spot. While the price started to lift up, it was the opposite, using more futures and using less spot. It's just volume. So buy and sell, it's the volume. Okay? So also here it's just indicating, it looks they used futures once again to lift up the price, then to sell, and that's why the spot started to lift up once again. So yeah, it looks we are unfortunately still on track, because that's happening since a while and nothing is changing. The market is shrinking in activity. I mean, less deposit and even but more deposit wallets are withdrawing, just indicating that the market activity is declining more. And to be honest, I mean, you can be bullish, you can be bearish, it doesn't matter. But a market that has a shrinking activity is not a healthy market at all. It is not. And we all know tomorrow we can have a very positive new, and they will use it to trigger your FOMO. Because that's what we are playing over and over again. But I'm missing the big steps. I'm missing a little bit the signals of bull run preparations. I'm not saying them. But that's maybe part of my personal conclusion. I'm not going to offer today. So let us go forward. So that should be part of my liquidity analysis. I just separated it just because I said it's more visual. So because we are going to check every single or almost every listed exchanges on Trading Light, and we will see where the liquidity is waiting for to buy the dip, or where they are bringing their Bitcoins in position just to sell. Sometimes you have, for example, such kind of blocks that's indicating they have their Bitcoins ready to sell, and it seems they it's really in my opinion here not really sharp or clear if they use that just as a protection level, so you are not going to lift up more, or if they really wanted to sell here and they missed the price because the price just went up to 26.7 and instead they were waiting just $100 above. So, but that's mainly Coinbase. And the most interesting part that I'm using it for is to see where their liquidity is waiting. So 22, 21, usually indicating in that area someone is waiting. So you can do whatever you want, but you are not going to cross that here. Well, you can try, and I will buy the dip. That's usually the main thing. If you see bigger sell orders to above, for example here at 33, at 34 or 35, it could give us a nice view that someone is just, for example, waiting at that price levels because they know they can distribute there. You see what Coinbase did. They did exactly here the same. They bought some dips and started to push up the price. So if we go now to Bitstamp, that's everything is bought. On Bitstamp, for example, we can just see they are just removing liquidity to the downside. It can indicate us we will go up from here because we are done, or just we will go down. But that's why we need to check different exchanges to see if it matches. Because usually all these big operations are, operated by funds, hedge funds, beautiful companies like Jane Street, who just gone a month ago from crypto. But Cumberland is the same. You remember Sam had a company similar to them, and he only did very good things with that. So yeah, this kind of people are, or those kind of entities are the main market makers who at the same time are using algorithm, so automated tradings. And Jane Street just said, we don't like what we are expecting coming from regulators, so we want to go out, and they just left. But we have Cumberland still there, and Cumberland was using BUSD, and in the past on Binance, it's, as I know, one of the main exchanges they are using is Binance. But usually they use different, and they have to use, if you really want to drive the market price of a market that's not centralized, where you have different exchanges, you need to use the algos in different exchanges as well, because here volume plays a bigger role. So if we check here, for example, 27.5, 28, for example, some people are expecting to see there. We can go even a little bit more up, hitting 30K. Otherwise, they would like just to protect 25K. Everything else, it's more likely to see a price between 17.5 and 20. If we check the volume profile, all these lines, it's also indicating we have a resistance area at 26.5 at the moment. Our support area would be 25.8 or 25.9. So that was BTC USDT. Now BTC TUSD. Also here you can see what they are doing. We have here 28.5 or 25.6. A nice range. They triggered, it seems, the dip here at 26.4. If we go forward, BTC BUSD once again, I think we can ignore the BTC BUSD because it's declining in market cap more and more and more. Bitfinex BTC USD, that's going to be very interesting. We see that they are, well, it's pure algorithm what they are doing here. It's all, but you can see here, for example, wow, someone dumped 500 bitcoins. That's the CBD, and this 1 hour 500 bitcoins, that's a lot. 318 here, another 218 here. That's the volume delta. So if you check here, you will see the delta sign. That's indicating you they sold more than they bought, and within this 1 hour candle. So another 200 bitcoins here, and that explains why the CBD of Bitfinex is declining more. And no, that's not bullish. So at the same time, I'm not sure if that's really, if they are waiting there with 533 bitcoins at 27.5, or if that's also algo trading. OKEX spot, I can't see anything. Kraken BTC USD, they removed all the liquidity downstairs, even upstairs. KuCoin or KuCoin. KuCoin waiting at 24/7. BitMEX. On BitMEX, we know that they are preparing, at least they were just demanding more shorts on both sides, on stablecoin margin contracts and Bitcoin margin contracts. Now we go over to derivatives, starting with Bybit, BTC USD. We don't see anything here. Now with BTC USDT, also here nothing to see, only that they are, it seems, related to the CBD shorting. We also see the open interest change, so usually indicating when they are bringing more positions on centralized exchanges, when they are closing or getting wrecked. So now BTC USDT on Binance, usually one of my favorite puzzle pieces, where you see it seems they were waiting here to go long or also to protect, because you can imagine that the big part of the whole Bitcoin market is not on spot, how many would expect. And I think, even the founder of Bitcoin didn't have in mind that Bitcoin is going to become a speculative asset, like SPY, for example. But it is, that is a development, and indicating that they were using here a lot of Bitcoins based on futures to protect the price, because almost 60 to 70% of the whole market volume is based on futures volume, not spot volume. Anyway, to drive the market with futures, you always need to support with spot. It's not possible only to use futures. So if we go forward, now BTC BUSD, once again, I'm not going to repeat over and over again. Bitfinex derivatives, BTC perp, indicating they want to short at the price between 27 and 27.3. They open a window and just telling us a little bit like, hey, I'm waiting here, and then I want to short there at 27.1. Kraken futures, so algo. So maybe you should think about also to use algos instead. OKEX futures is also waiting here 27.5. So indicating we can go up a little bit, hitting 27 very shortly. Qcoin, wow, that looks a little bit like crap here, but not really. Well, what happened here? It seems a gap in the data. And Deribit for me also one of the most important ones, 24,000 indicating here. So now we had a good overview of what is happening. So they are using they are using the same pattern like before, using more futures to push up the price, selling then, it's pure distribution. But if they are still using the same pattern, that's not bullish. That doesn't look like they are preparing the next bull run, because usually they would accumulate. And the big question is, they want to accumulate at 26? Some people are saying, hey, Bitcoin will have a bull run hitting $250,000. To be honest, the same people who were just forecasting $100,000 just in 2021, I wouldn't care about their opinion. You should care about your own opinion. What I'm doing here is just providing you some views. It's not telling you should trade what I'm telling you. I'm hopefully attracting and motivating you to check this data. And as you know, let me promote a little bit the coming platform with Phoenicia, where I will show you. We are creating a list with almost 150, 200 different indicators. Everything from TA, on-chain. I will explain weights ratio in different ways so that even the newbie can understand what the weights ratio means, and it's indicating you. And then when you have a lot of more information, because we will provide some market analysis and so on and so forth, it's your own responsibility to take all this stuff and to start to create your own trading strategy based on your smartness, intelligence. Don't follow people. I mean, you can follow me and you can follow some other guys. Why not? Sometimes it's really funny. But never ever, really never ever, use your money, trade something that something else is telling you. Never. Okay? So big love. It wasn't now a big market analysis. But I hope we started with a new milestone. Inspo's back. So big love. We will hear us together once again next Wednesday. And trade carefully. Bye bye. Your Inspo.